What's going on, everybody? It's Tim, and we've got some good news in the market. We've got a little rally today. CPI did come in under what was expected, but is still quite a way off from our target. So I'm going to go over my thoughts. We're also going to look at the SPY and see how this recent CPI news came in. And if you don't mind, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Definitely appreciate it. Check out the links below to some free stocks and free cryptos, and let's check it out. And everything I go over, I will leave for you down below in the description. But our CPI came out as a 7.7% increase over last year. 0.4% increase month over month, whereas expectations was a 7.9% year over year and a 0.5% month over month. And then going over to core CPI, we've got a 6.3% year over year and a 0.3% month over month. Expectations was a 6.5% year over year and a 0.5 month over month. Now, I think this is great news to see that CPI is finally coming down. The Fed's effort of raising rates is finally showing some effect here. I think we did hit our peak, and we are going to be continuing, obviously, to go down. Now, does this give us reason for a sustainable rally? I don't think so. The Fed is going to continue to have to raise rates, albeit with this news slightly at a lower pace now, maybe 0.5, maybe 0.25, maybe they're going to continue to do 75s. And just look at this chart. Our 2% target is so far out of reach still, but we are finally on our path towards it. And you'll see that the market is absolutely rallying on this news that, CPI came in under what was expected, not at or above. But in the end, we still got a lot of work ahead of us. It is nice to see a little pop in the market, a little sigh of relief. But, everyone's eyes are going to be on the next CPI. Are we going to get that continued trajectory downward? And think about this, we're still so far away from that 2%. I could definitely see the market creating new lows. However, on the short term, we might see a little rally up to 400 on the SPY, before turning right back around and potentially hitting new lows in this 350 area. You'll see the trajectory of the SPY ever since December 2021 has been down. And we know that the Fed has a lot of work to do. We know that the Fed is not done raising rates. But remember that the market is forwards looking. And once we have a sign, and likely when we're maybe around 4 to 5% in the CPI, once we have a sign though that the Fed is able to stop raising rates, maybe even able to start turning around and begin lowering, which isn't for quite a long time. But once we have a sign of that, once that is about 6 months out, I do think the market will likely hit a bottom at that point. That could be 6 months from now, that could be a year from now. It really depends on where inflation continues to go. There is obviously still a lot of work to be done, and just because we got some good numbers on the CPI doesn't change the macro economy. So I do think this is just a little bit of a false rally in my opinion. Maybe we get a little Santa rally before we start pulling back, but I do think there are still some great times to buy stocks. I still currently think that the small caps, even though a lot have gone up 10% today, I still think a lot of those are going to be worthy of DCAing over the next couple of months. And even a lot of these large caps, even the Apples and Metas and Teslas of the world. I do think we're going to find some great deals on these over the next 3 to 6 months. And even now with a lot of these dropping, look at Nvidia, how much it's dropped. Even stocks like those, I think are still more than worthy of averaging in if you have long-term conviction on them. But looking at the SPY, it still has a ways to go. I do think it's going to test its previous peak back in 2020, as do many others, and that's really not that far off from our previous low here that was just established in the middle of October. So while yes, since mid-October to November, we have seen a nice little rally, you need to consider how quickly things can turn back around. I mean, look, from mid-June to mid-August, we had a very nice rally going from around 360 to 430. What happened after that? Well, right after the middle of August, all the way into the middle of October, we just had this continued push down into new lower levels. Just be careful out there. Just because it seems like things are turning around, maybe you might think we hit a bottom. Sure, it's possible, but always be ready for the worst. Always be ready for if this isn't the bottom, if we do continue farther down. In my honest opinion, we will still have some great opportunities to continue to buy our high conviction stocks. In the end, the Fed is still raising rates. Inflation is still high. We're dealing with uncertainty of elections. And even if we do have a little run into the end of this year, I think this year will go down in history as one of the worst years in the stock market. But all I can really say is take advantage of these times, because looking multiple years back, I think people will regret not adding in during all these rough, uncertain times. While yes, things can go lower on the short term to mid-term, I think long term, these are some of the best prices we'll see. But that's all I got for you. Just a quick little update. I will be putting out a Matterport and an Indie video here later today. Their earnings is coming out after hours. So stick around if you want to watch those. Thanks as always, guys. Let me know how you feel about CPI. Let me know how you feel about inflation, what you think the Fed is going to continue to do. Are they going to continue raising rates at an aggressive pace? Are they going to let go of the gas a little bit? Do you think they're going to turn around? Thanks as always, guys, and take it easy.